This is part 2 of my 2-part special of John Candy's best films. If you haven't seen part 1, click that link right there on the screen and go and see it right now. But still watch this after you've seen part 1. Yeah. I want to look at what I think are his best films and my personal favourites of his. Planes, Trains and Automobiles and Uncle Buck. Bear with me, huge fans of these films, as I could get a few things wrong, because believe it or not, I saw these films for the first time recently, and because they were so good, I had to show you them all, as it just bothers me that at least no one I know knows John Candy in these films, and they only know Cool Runnings. Don't get me wrong, Cool Runnings is a great film, and I personally love it, but these two are the two that stand out from John Candy. Planes, Trains and Automobiles has comedy so well placed, and little touches so well done that I'm jealous of it. I'm jealous of how well made it is, and I'm most of all jealous of how well this whole thing is structured. Oh, just a heads up, spoilers. I couldn't spoil Uncle Buck, but I'm spoiling this. So instead of recommending watching the movie after I've reviewed it like I did with Uncle Buck, I recommend you watch it now. I'm only going to do the story and give examples of the great comedy before spoiling this masterpiece of events and hijinks. So basically the main character, Neil Page, has everything bad happening to him. People steal his taxis when he's trying to catch a plane.
But I'm desperately late for a plane, and I was wondering if I could appeal to your good nature and ask you to let me have it.
I don't have a good nature.
Douche! They don't let him in first class on the plane, and his plane doesn't land at its destination, Chicago, because of a snowstorm. Through all of this, he gets stuck with the guy that caused a bit of this mess for him by stealing his cab, and coincidentally he's forced to tag along with him in order to get a place to stay. This is of course obviously John Candy, who in the film is known as Del Griffith, and obviously from there, hilarity ensues.
Cab ride, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a great cab ride.
You see, this is the kind of film that I would just never forgive myself for simply telling the story of, because there's far more to talk about than just simply repeating the film's story. The film does so well to construct these two characters quite well through these awkward and hilarious situations they go through. You'd think they would get too over the top with the way these two behave toward each other, and the film definitely does, when they have a huge fight at around 25 minutes in.
You mess up the bathroom.
Well, who let you stay in the room? I even let you pay for it so you wouldn't feel like an intruder, which you most certainly are.
Honey, I'd like you to meet Del Griffith. He's got some amusing anecdotes for you. Oh, and here's a gun so you can blow your brains out. You'll thank me for it.
It's weird because most films wait until the end for this kind of situation, but this one gets it right out of the way fast to allow more screen time for these two to overcome it and become good friends. Pretty interesting by this film if you think about it. And the messed up shit that happens with these two in their long journey of taking planes, trains and automobiles to get back to their home in Chicago is just brilliant to watch.
Why are you holding my hand? Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
At one point they actually do decide to go their separate ways, and of course Del turns out fine, whilst Neil's character just has more and more bad luck, with his situation getting much worse. He's pretty much at the end of his tether when this hilarious scene happens.
Yeah. How may I help you?
You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks.
There's no F words for the whole movie, and then there's just F-bomb after F-bomb.
And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there.
Hold.
Then you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
May I see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, what?
You're fussed.
This is so great. They do get back together, of course, as Neil has no other way home than going with Del.
Don't race, that's ridiculous.
All right, come on, let's go, let's go.
And this is that scene. This is the scene that everyone remembers.
Probably drunk.
You're
People are warning him that he's going the wrong way, and finally, when he realizes it happens...
What?
A skeleton! So they're obviously showing it through his eyes. Yeah, you could almost make this part like a horror movie. As the film gets to its climax, we see a scene of Del and Neil talking about how much they love their wives and their families. For the first time in the movie, Candy genuinely looks angry in character in this scene, and I couldn't put my finger on it until later on why he was angry, but yeah, I'll get to that. So again, spoilers. So the two do eventually get back in Chicago in the back of a truck. Hey, why isn't it called planes, trains, trucks? Yeah.
Nobody even wants you here.
So after they've said their goodbyes and parted ways, Neil starts thinking of all the things he can't wait for with his family. Then he thinks back to all the hilarious moments he had with Del. He then comes to the realization that something just wasn't right about some of the stuff Del said, as well as his attitude towards his wife when he mentioned his wife. He comes back to the train station that he said goodbye to Del at after coming to the realization that Del once said to him that he doesn't even have a home. Then this scene happens.
Del, what are you doing here? You said you were going home. What are you doing here?
I don't have a home. Marie's been dead for 8 years.
The pacing, the look of these actors, the look of the camera, it's all just so powerful. And hell yes, what an ending. I love this movie. The journey of these characters, the mutual friendship, and the respect they have for each other, as well as the respect I have for this movie and John Candy, is powerful. It's so easy to see why this is one of the greatest comedies of all time and one of my favorite films of all time. The last part actually makes me cry, so I'll just cut it here. Legend. Absolute legend. Just those still shots at the end of these films. Planes, Trains and Automobiles will forever be one of the greatest comedies of all time. It is so great to watch, and just the sheer brilliance of it is just awesome. There's so many little touches to this film that just make it that little bit better, and it's a roller coaster, let me tell you. Planes, Trains and Automobiles is obviously much better, but it's hard because Uncle Buck's still a great film. I do definitely prefer Planes, Trains and Automobiles though. The ending is a tearjerker. It's so sad because of course, John Candy's not with us anymore. He's just such a beloved actor, such a great guy. His legacy will go on forever. Please watch these films. You've got to see these films. They're just so great. They're some of the best films you could possibly watch, and just John Candy's films are just amazing. Thank you, John, for what you brought to the film industry, and thank you for watching this. I know some of you don't like me reviewing good movies because I'm a bit of a boring personality in them, but I tried to put it in with the whole reaction to the car scene, so, you know, I try. If you liked it, thank you very much for watching. I can't do this. I can't do this. No, it's too sad.
Every time you go.
Here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
To get back here to have you smile at my fucking face.